So something that we often talk about when it comes to One Piece is the Straw Hats' inevitable clashes with the Yonko. For some reason, people seem to respect Luffy saying that he was going to defeat all of the Yonko, but when it comes to him saying he was going to take down the Admirals, it doesn't seem like it's talked about as much. Now, I don't know if this is because people don't respect the Admirals as much as they do the Yonko or vice versa, but it just seems like Luffy and the Straw Hats fighting the Admirals or even being involved in combat at all seems to kind of fall by the wayside when the Yonko get involved. In today's video, I want to speak about that specifically and answer a question that I've been thinking about. Will the Straw Hats ever fight or defeat the Marine Admirals? But of course, guys, if you're new here, then stick around, man. Go ahead and subscribe. Turn on those post notifications, become part of the Synsei Grand Fleet. You're more than welcome here. Also, if you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up, man. It's free. The button's right there. Or you can dislike it if you want. Like I always say, you know what I mean? Interaction is interaction. It's going to help my video. So I'm just kidding. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So something that Luffy has stated he wanted to do was defeat the Yonko and the Admirals. Not just the Yonko, but also the Marine Admirals. And we've seen Luffy fight a plethora of enemies throughout One Piece, but it seems like he's on the precipice of finally defeating a Yonko. Now, first and foremost, there's a abundant amount of counter arguments to him defeating all the Yonko, and one is becoming evidently clear, and that may be, well, it seems like Kid and Law may defeat Big Mom. That's not really Luffy or the crew doing it. And my answer and rebuttal to that is I have been one to say this over and over again, and I'm still sticking by it. I do not believe that Kid and Law will put Big Mom down for good. Now, would they put her down? Will they do enough damage for her to retreat? That is something that I think is evident by the fact that they're getting power-ups, by the fact that they are doing their best. It seems like with the introduction of the Tower card from Hawkins, a change is coming. Pause. I'm just kidding. Let me stop. But in all seriousness, I really do believe that Kid and Law will do enough damage to Big Mom to have her retreat or to have her turn back and run away with the Big Mom pirates, but not to be completely defeated for a few reasons. One, I don't think they're ready to defeat a Yonko, especially one that has not taken nearly any damage. We've seen Kaido fight a majority of the arc. He's been constantly fighting. It makes sense that Luffy, with the damage that's already been done to Kaido, could potentially take Kaido down. That makes more sense to me than Kid and Law beating a almost fresh Big Mom. It just doesn't make that much sense to see them do that. To see them do enough damage, fine. The second thing is that I do think Big Mom is going to be in the Elbaf arc if we have that arc. She has ties to the Elbaf arc. We have known about this for a very long time. She has unfinished business with the Giants. And due to that, I think we're still going to see Big Mom. Maybe not as an antagonist in the next arc, but I think we're going to see of her in this arc. And I think she's finally going to get those answers to maybe what happened with Mother Caramel and also have a chance at snagging one of those Giants for her book. You know, shout out to my man, Big Mom Thor. For those reasons, I don't think Big Mom is done narratively. Do I think she's done as an antagonist in the story? Yes, I think that she's pretty much done when it comes to combat stuff. We'll probably see her make cameos and fight here and there, especially in the final war. But is she going to be a major antagonist? Not in that arc specifically. But I do believe that Luffy is going to take Big Mom down. I think, and you can call me crazy if you want to, that Big Mom is going to be the very first Yonko that Luffy defeats one-on-one with no interferences. Without anyone helping to weaken her, like we have seen with Kaido and Wano. I think that Big Mom will be the very first Yonko that Luffy fights 1v1 without any outside interference, without any help, that he defeats. Now, as far as Blackbeard, of course, Luffy is going to fight Blackbeard. Of course, he's going to defeat him. Shanks is the tricky one. I think that Luffy should get a duel with Shanks. We know that Shanks has dueled in the past. Yes, there was a sword duel with Mihawk, and I don't know if he's sword dueled anyone else, but we know for a fact, due to the chapter when he went on the Moby Dick, Whitebeard's ship, and they had that conversation, that him and Mihawk had a duel. We know this. This is a fact. So we know that Shanks and other pirates will duel. We've seen Ace and Jinbei fight. It wasn't really a duel, but they fought for 5 days. We've seen Kaido and Big Mom fight for 3 days. And my point is, we've seen pirates fight, but we've seen them fight without killing each other, which is what I believe could happen with Luffy and Shanks, because one, like I said, we've seen pirates fight without killing, and these pirates are animalistic too. Like, these are pirates that would normally kill each other, like Big Mom and Kaido, right? But Luffy doesn't even kill. So him fighting Shanks or dueling Shanks can most assuredly happen. Like, he has to get the Straw Hat back at some point, right? Do you guys want to see him just get it back? Just get it from Shanks? Now, I know there's a bunch of theories about Shanks dying to Blackbeard and then maybe him inheriting the hat or putting the hat back on Shanks's grave. That is something that I have been saying for a long time as well. But I can see another outcome as well in which Shanks does not die, or he doesn't die before him and Luffy get to have an encounter. The reason why I don't think it's the latter is because it doesn't make sense for Luffy to return the Straw Hat before the story's over. Like, what is he just going to be, regular Luffy the rest of the story? He's not going to have a Straw Hat anymore. Maybe he gives it to Shanks and Shanks gives it right back. Or maybe Shanks says, you've done enough. I'm accepting this. But here, I want you to keep the Straw Hat. I want you to pass it on to the next generation. I could also see that happening. But I do think Luffy and Shanks need to fight. Which leads me to my next point. We've talked about the Yonko fights, the Admirals. Now, is Luffy going to fight every Admiral 1v1? I do not think so. However, I think that by extension, if his crew fights Admirals and they win, that's still him completing what he said. Said he wants to beat the Yonko and the Admirals, and if he does it with his crew, that is still an extension of their captain, Monkey D. Luffy. So if Luffy can defeat the Admirals with the help of his crew, then I think that perfectly fits into what he is saying. Right now we have Akainu, Kaizuru, Fujitora, and Green Bull. We don't know anything about Green Bull, except for that he objectifies women. I've said this before. We've seen him talk to women pretty poorly, and he hasn't eaten in 3 years. To me, that is the perfect matchup for Sanji. I know that y'all Sanji fanboys out there, I love y'all because I love Sanji too. Y'all want Sanji versus Kaizuru. And yes, that does sound cool. We've seen Kaizuru use kick attacks, and we know that he has light speed. We have Sanji, who they're saying is light speed within, the verse of the anime. So it makes sense. I can see where y'all want to see it. But I think the Green Bull fighting someone that treats women poorly and doesn't eat, and having them up against the chef who wants to feed everyone and who wants to be a chivalrous person to women, that is the perfect matchup. I don't know what else the matchup should be. That is perfect. I don't know why you would want it to be anything else. Now, as far as Fujitora goes, I want to see Fujitora versus Zoro. Everybody wants to see that. That is the fight that started in Dressrosa with their clash, and it needs to end. I think that him getting to fight Fujitora perhaps before the Mihawk fight would be the perfect, and I mean perfect warm-up to fight Mihawk. If you can beat Fujitora, then you have a chance. At least you have a chance against Mihawk. If you can beat an Admiral, number one that controls gravity, that brings meteors down, you got a chance at least against Mihawk, right? Like, especially if you do well against them. You have a great chance. They've already clashed. They're swordsmen. That makes the most sense for me. Zoro fighting Fujitora, I think, is as clear as day. I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm gonna be honest. Of course, though, we have Akainu versus Luffy. Now, this is something that's a little bit, what's the word? It's a little hard to talk about because there are different parts of the fandom who want to see different things. Some people want to see Sabo beat Akainu, fight Akainu. Some people want to see him fight Dragon. Some people want Garp involved. And then there are people that want the tag team of Sabo and Luffy. I, for one, used to think I wanted Sabo to fight him because in a way it would be like Ace getting revenge for who killed him, because it's like the will of Ace lived through the Mera into Sabo, and Sabo was his brother. So in a way, it's like he is getting to be Ace and defeating the person that killed Ace. That's why I love that idea. But people don't like it because they're like, okay, well, Luffy said he wants to defeat the Admiral, so I feel like Luffy needs to be involved. Also, Luffy was there and had to watch Ace get killed. He should have his revenge as well. So I'm a big fan of the tag team. I'm a big fan of Sabo and Luffy versus Akainu. Now, the problem is Akainu is going to have to be like crazy strong, because I feel like if not, I feel like Luffy and Sabo are going to destroy him, right? Because I feel like Luffy is like touching Admiral level. Some people think he's Yonko level right now. I don't personally. I think he's like touching Admiral level. Sabo is probably touching Admiral level, or at least close to it. So by the time they fight Akainu, that's like 2 Admirals fighting Akainu. That should be a wash. So Akainu's got to like either be super strong if that's to happen, or it's got to be a 1v1. And I honestly don't think he's going to be strong enough to beat 2 Admirals by himself. Like that just doesn't make sense. Maybe go mid to high diff with them. That could happen potentially, but like On paper, it should just be a wash, right? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. You guys can let me know. However, I think by extension, like I said, the Straw Hats defeating the Admirals with Luffy is still him defeating the Admirals. So yes, I do believe that Luffy will still defeat all 4 Yonko and all 4 Admirals. Now, of course, he's not going to do it by himself, but his crew helping him is still an extension of their captain. I keep saying that because that's important. People seem to like miss that. Like, oh, if Luffy doesn't do it 1v1, all of them, it's not the same. No, it is the same. His crew is still getting the W's. Every time they're in every arc and they defeat other people within the crew, like when Zoro beats King and when Sanji beats Queen and when Luffy beats Kaido, that's still W's for Luffy. He still is representing their crew. He is still their captain. So it doesn't really matter if it's like a situation where they don't get to fight 1v1 and Luffy doesn't get to beat them all 1v1. He still gets to beat them by extension, indirectly. Now, this is just my thoughts. I do think that Luffy is beating all of them, and that is how I think the matchups will go and how things will play out. But I want to hear from all of you. So make sure you comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you think Luffy is still going to beat all the Admirals and Yonko? If not, tell me why. Also, my Discord link is in the pinned comment. Make sure you join that. And as always, I hope you all are staying safe and healthy during these trying times. This has been Synsei Inc., and I will see you all in the next video.